Check this.
Hey guys, it's me again, and today we're gonna talk about the fall of Latin America. And it seems that everything's not going well for the entire two continents. For example, Bolivia having a fake election, Ecuador having some socialist president, and the president canceling the fuel subsidies, and Venezuela with this dumbass, and Mexico with the drug cartels, and Cuba with the same crap since the 60s, and now even Chile, which I personally thought was a great country, but now it looks like its president is even a socialist himself. And every single country has been going through or has been through protests, and it's kind of sad, to be honest, because pretty much for me and pretty much for the entire world, communism and socialism has died, and now it's kind of sad that communism and socialism is rising again, because like I said, communism has pretty much died. And the funny thing is that Che Guevara, an Argentine Marxist, was wanting a communist Latin America, and 60 years later, it honestly feels like it's happening. And since I've talked about Cuba, Venezuela, and Bolivia, I'm going to talk about the protests and other problems with the rest of the countries that I talked about earlier. First off, Mexico. Mexico has been having a drug war since 2006, and it's been more problematic throughout the years, and this year's even worse, especially since this month, November 4th, a American Mormons who were living in Mexico were attacked by gunmen, and sadly there was 9 deaths, and even children were shot in this massacre, and it's really a really sad situation, and I just hope the best for the Lebron family. And if we go deeper into the situation that Mexico is going through, I'm starting to have theories for the future of Mexico, because I feel like one thing will happen, and that will probably be a civil war, because the tension is so high that it could happen, or a dictatorship could happen, which might cause or create a new and better democracy for Mexico. Alright, now let's talk about the protests going on in Ecuador. Ecuador, in my opinion, has always been kind of struggling for a long time, but now it seems like the people are like angered with the government, because the president of Ecuador, named Lenin Moreno, did a cancellation of fuel subsidies, which started riots, and also started riots against austerity measures, which is like a political economic policy that aims to reduce government budget deficits through spending cuts, tax increases, or a combination of both. But later on, the protest stopped since indigenous groups and the Ecuadorian government reached a deal to reverse the austerity measures, which started collaboration on how to combat overspending and public debt. Alright, now let's move on to the final country of Chile. To be honest, I always saw Chile as a great country with a great economy, but now there's protests going on, which is really concerning, to be honest. And these protests are going on because there was a rise in public transport, and a rising of cost of living, and an income of inequality, and corruption scandals, which is really surprising to me, because always seen Chile as a great country, but later on the protest stopped. So now I just hope that these countries are able to recover from the protests and the problems, and they could just grow as a country and keep going. Well, thank you guys for watching this video. To be honest, I know like last video I said that I was gonna like make a new video about like 3 days or something like that, but like this video was like so much hard to make, because there's so much information going around, and the problem was that new information was coming up every day, and it's just super hard to like keep consistently changing the news and stuff like that. So I'm sorry about that. And I also want to give a shout out to It's Clean, because he made a new intro for me, and I'm gonna start putting this intro more often in my videos now. And I just want to say thank you, It's Clean. Thank you for making this amazing intro for me, especially the last one, which I thought it was an amazing intro. So please subscribe to him. I'll put it in the description down below. And remember, guys, eat your vegetables, because they're good and they're healthy. That's kind of the point,